Hi, I'm Ross Cann. I'm a local architect here in Newport, Rhode Island, and I have been fortunate over the years to be invited to this wonderful house to join the family in meals and holidays. And we've of course enjoyed this magnificent dining room created by the architect was Charles Platt, who built this fantastic French chateau style house on the eve of the Great Depression in 1927. It was owned by many important wealthy people over the years. These murals were created in 1958 by Eleanor Dorrance Hill, who was an heiress to the Campbell soup fortune, and she commissioned Martin Battersby, who was a famous theatrical muralist who was doing a lot of work in England for aristocratic families there, to come to the United States and create the greatest dinner party ever created with all of the figures of the French Renaissance here in this room to overlook and share in all of her meals and dinner parties. Of course, the great King of France, Louis XIV, Louis XIV, is here with his 5 mistresses. Next to it, we have Anne, Duchess de Montpensier, with her 5 suitors who she juggled on occasion. So she was, I guess, Louis XIV's equal. Moving along, we have Molière, the great French playwright, with a still from one of his great plays. He's known, of course, for Tartuffe, Don Juan, and some of the other magnificent plays of that period. This is Madame de Pompadour, who was one of Louis XIV's mistresses that is seen in one of those small miniatures there. If you see the amazing detail of these drawings, it really is spectacular, done with pen and ink right on the wall, but as if it were on canvas. Moving along, we have Jean-Baptiste Lully, who is an operettist, and you see little bits of his music, and of course a still from one of his great operas. And of course here we have Louis XIV again, and it's a painting of a sculpture of a man. So there's a lot of meta there. Moving along, we have Madame Montespan. So she is another of Louis's mistresses. Of course here we have Voltaire, the great anti-monarchical author of the 18th century. So he really follows after Louis XIV. Here we have Madame de Sévigné, who is known as a great letter writer. Here's the house from which she wrote copious letters and sent those all over, and she was seen as, again, one of these 19th century proto-feminists, a woman of letters in her own right, rather extraordinary. As we kind of come to the end, we have Jules Houdin Mansart, who was I guess the nephew of the original Mansart, and he was a architect himself. And then lastly, of course, Marie Antoinette, and you see, of course, the crack through the bas-relief of her head across her neck, showing that her fate was not a good one. Here we have the entire history of France encapsulated in this room in its most famous and greatest figures. It is captured here for hopefully all time, surrounding this magnificent dining table.